Hi, everybody. Let me try and find you on Facebook because I'm all over the place. Because needless to say, Mark's computer's not working, which means I'm doing the tech stuff, and we always know how that goes. So 2 ticks because nothing's working properly. So can I welcome Cheri with us this evening, who has joined us from Cruise and Crop, who are organising our little trip to the Norwegian Fjords, and exactly a year away. So this time next year, we'll actually be sailing the 7 seas, which is going to be loads of fun.
It's very fun.
I still haven't found it. Hold on. Oh, that's really great. I love Facebook when it works. I can't find my group. Oh, dear. Mark's computer's broken. Mine's not working. I think it's the heat.
That's why we're going to Norway.
Is it hot with you, Cheri? Because you're in Florida, aren't you?
Yeah, it's very humid and in the 90s, so feels
crikey,
extra hot.
Yeah, that's I don't know we're about, I don't know, 20 something centigrade. Why can't I find my group anymore? Well, I'm glad you are. Right. Oh, there we are. Right. Okay. So now we can get going. Oh no, that was last night's. I think I'm just going to stick to YouTube. Oh, there we are. Right. Okay. Now I can get going. Okay. So. Hi, Diana. Hi, Jill. You're cutting zebras out. Oh, I've nearly finished mine. Oh, zebras. Same thing. Hi, Karen. Karen's asked me some good questions. So, right. Hi, Janelle. Hi, Elaine. Good. Glad you're here. Right, okay, so this is a little bit weird. So hi, everybody. It's a bit weird being on the screen, but thank you for joining us. So as I said, we've got Cheri with us from Cruise and Crop, who obviously is organising our extravaganza next year. And we thought it would be a really good idea sooner rather than later to come and talk to you about what's going to be happening and going over some questions that you have, because I've already had a few and I don't always know the answers. In fact, that's understatement of the century. So, I've got a couple of questions already, but I wondered if anybody wants to ask us some questions, then you can do so in the comments or whatever. Hold on, let me just switch this off. Now I'm... Right. Okay. So, shall I just start with some of the questions that I've already had? And Cheri, I'm afraid they're all for you.
That's fine.
Okay. So, obviously, we know, and I'll get Mark to, if he can, in a minute, pop the link up to your webpage where people can go and have a look at the costs, look at the itinerary for the week. We're going the 12th to the 19th of July next year, which will be lots of fun. Leaving from Southampton, which is obviously UK. And actually, that's a good place to start because I gather that you can help people with flights if anybody needs some flights as well.
Yes, definitely. So our number one recommendation is to book your flights with Royal Caribbean. They have an online tool. You can go right to their webpage, put in your reservation number, tell them what dates you want to fly and where you're flying from and going to. And you can pick out your own routing. So it makes it very easy. Another advantage is they allow you to add flights to your booking now. and then you can reserve them, but pay for them later. So you don't have to pay for them right away. And that allows you, if you change your mind, or if you need to change your travel dates, or if you think the price went down, you can cancel those flights and rebook something else, and there's no penalty. So
that's brilliant.
You get both the benefit of locking in a rate and a routing you really like, but then the option to change it before final payment without any penalty. So it's really nice.
But it's not just the flights, is it? I'm just thinking that cruise and crop can help with so many other things as well. So I know for a fact that there's a few people coming from your side of the pond who've booked on already, which is amazing. But if people want to do more than just turn up and jump on the ship, I gather that you can help with itineraries for trips on the way or afterwards.
Sure. So if you're already flying overseas and you want to experience more of Great Britain or Ireland, Scotland, or anything over in Europe, then we can certainly help with that. So we can help get you booked on like a custom trip, or there are some escorted land packages that we can find something that lines up with this cruise, so that you're together with a group of people and a tour guide, and they're taking care of everything for you. So either route, we can help you with that. We find some people just want to go in 2-3 days early into London and see London, and then we can help you with the transfer down to Southampton. So
brilliant. Diana's asking if you know which airline Royal Caribbean usually use.
They're going to use all the major carriers, Delta, United, American, British Airways. They will use all the major ones. You'll have your choice of which airline carrier you choose. It'll compare all the prices of the different airlines, and you can pick which one you want.
Fantastic.
And you can plug in your frequent flyer numbers there too. You can't use your points or miles to book through Royal Caribbean, but you can earn miles on the flights.
Okay, cool. So when we're obviously if we could just talk a little bit more about the actual booking process. Now, obviously, I've had a good look. I know Mark and I haven't booked ours yet. We really need to do that. But I've had a good look at the booking form on your website, and it's really comprehensive. So once people have filled that in, what happens next?
Then that comes directly to us, and we look at what kind of cabin that you had picked. And we always double check, what is our group rate compared to the prevailing sale price. We're always going to get you the best price available. And if there's something better out there that maybe you weren't able to select, we can always email you or give you a call and discuss additional options with you. But then, once we settle in on a cabin and stateroom type, then we'll just put your deposits down. There's the cruise deposit is $500 US dollars. There's a $50 per crafter deposit that is non-refundable. That just helps secure your spot in the crop room. And then you have the option to buy travel insurance at the time of deposit. So once all of that is complete, we take care of all that for you, and then we'll send you an invoice. So you'll get all your information, and we'll keep you informed from there on out. About 9 months before your trip, we'll start sending newsletters about your cruise with more answers and links to like how to book airfare or pre-hotels, more information about your crop as we get closer to the cruise. So all sorts of information. We try to keep you very informed on what's going on.
Brilliant. And there will, of course, if you've been on any of my retreats before, you'll know that we always have a special sort of Facebook group as well, where we get to know each other and talk about the project. And I will talk a little bit more about that in due course, but we're going to be doing that as well. And the lovely thing is as well that I think Cheri's going to be in the group too. So if you do have any questions, that are more specific about the logistics side of things, then there's going to be somebody that we can call on, which is absolutely fantastic. Yep. So this is a whole new language for me. I don't know whether people realise that they're actually coming on mine and Mark's honeymoon. I mean, we've been married for 10 years and we never got around to having a honeymoon because we always said we wanted to do a Norwegian cruise. But can you explain to us the difference in the rooms, because obviously when we've had a look, we've, you know, they're called staterooms, aren't they? But then there's suites, and what's the difference between them, please?
Sure. So you've got your base lead-in type of room called an inside room, and it is going to be your smallest room, no windows. This ship does have a lot of what they call virtual balconies. So many of the inside rooms are still an inside room, but they have like a floor-to-ceiling giant TV screen, basically, that you can turn on and off, and you can say, yes, I want to view the outside, or turn it off. So it's a live shot of what your ship is looking at. So that's pretty cool. Or you can upgrade to an ocean view room, which most of those are on a lower decks or in the very front of the ship, but they do have a large picture window, not just a little porthole. Your next step up would be your balcony stateroom. So the square footage gets a little bit bigger each time you upgrade. With that, you have your basic inside portion of your room, but you can also open your sliding glass door and step out onto your private balcony. So that's really nice. And then you can get up into your suites, which are often like twice as big and or bigger. So the price definitely jumps quite a bit when you go into the suites. But if you book a grand suite or better, you get a lot of additional benefits with those. And you get access to a special suite lounge, your own special dining room, reserved seating at some of the shows, things like that. So it's very posh to be grand suite or above, for sure.
Like the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions that I've been asked quite rightly, and I've done a little bit of research myself, but I'm sure you can help a whole lot more than I can, is that for people who are coming with maybe mobility issues, are they able to bring their own mobility aids, such as a scooter, with them? I did read, I think, that you can certainly hire wheelchairs, but how does that work, and how does it work in regard to excursions and such like?
Okay. So you can definitely bring your own equipment. That's not a problem at all. You can request, you would want to let us know at the time of booking if you need an accessible stateroom. And at the very bottom of a form on our website, it gives you the option to say, I'm bringing a wheelchair or a scooter, or, you know, I need this or that. And we can help request all that for you. Accessible staterooms, the cost may be slightly different. We may have to upgrade a category or two, and we always have to check availability because there are limited numbers of accessible rooms on the ship. But certainly if it's available, we can help you get that. If you don't want to bring your own equipment, but you want to rent it and have it delivered to your stateroom and for use while you're on the cruise, that's an option as well. We work with companies that do that sort of thing. So, you know, if you want it's something delivered, the cruise ship will not have scooters and wheelchairs for you to use 24/7. They do help people. If you just have trouble walking long distances, they will wheelchair you on and off the ship for those long distances, but they wouldn't wheelchair you, you know, to the dining room before dinner, things like that. And you wouldn't have access to a wheelchair when you're on land and doing your excursions. So you'd want to have something rented for that.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
Are there any? I mean, I actually used to work for an old person's charity here in the UK, and obviously insurances on scooters was something that was a constant conversation that we had. But do you require any special insurances if you maybe take your scooter or electric wheelchair or anything like that? Is it a requirement? Are there any specific requirements for extra insurances or anything if you do take your own aids?
Not the cruise line wouldn't require that. If you rent it, you do have the option to add insurance on the equipment. But as far as if you're bringing your own, it wouldn't be required an extra policy or whatnot. So,
and on the subject of things that are required, I read that there isn't a requirement any longer for COVID vaccinations.
No, finally. So,
yeah. We're back to normal, basically, is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So the cruise line's not requiring any kind of vaccinations for this cruise. No visas needed for US or UK to visit Norway. So it's pretty easy to get on and have a good time.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. Now, on the subject of having a good time, I have been asked an absolutely fantastic question, which is, do we have to dress up or can we dress up? What's the dress code?
Yes. So during the day, you can obviously dress for the weather and dress like a tourist would dress while they're touring around. But at dinner time, if you're going to be taking part in the formal dining room, which I definitely would recommend, the price is all included for your formal dinners each night, where they serve you all the delicious food. Nice casual is I would say kind of required. They're not going to allow shorts or bathing suits or anything like that in there. Dress like you're going out to eat. But there are 2 nights that they will call like dress your best, and you can dress up if you want, like semi-formal cocktail dress. Guys could wear a suit or a sports coat or just a tie. Definitely don't need tuxedos or sequined gowns or anything like that, but it is fun for some people. They love to get dressed up. So this is a great excuse, in my opinion. But if you don't want to get dressed up, I mean, they're not going to kick you out of the dining room. If you feel uncomfortable because all your friends did get dressed up and you didn't, there's lots of other dining venues that you may choose to eat at instead. So lots of options.
Well, that brings me nicely on to the next point, which is about dining, because I know on the form you ask about dining options. And after talking to a couple of people who are well used to going on cruises, Mark and I are going to be choosing the late dining option. But I understand that it's kind of helpful that if people are all choosing the same option, that we all sit together. So could you tell us a little bit about how all the dining options work, please?
Yes. So there's early, late, and then my time dining. So basically think of it as 3 entirely different groups of people. So if you pick early, you're only going to be seated with early people. Late, only late, and my time, only my time, because they're in different levels of the dining room, different times of the day. Obviously, that's obvious. But if you pick late dining, it's a great choice. You would all be seated in the same area of the dining room. You're going to have the same waiters every night. You can swap seats if you want. If you want to switch up tables, that's between you guys. But initially, we will assign groups of friends at the same dining table.
That sounds great. I really like that. Okay. Question: do you have to book an accessible room if you bring your scooter, or are you okay in an ordinary room?
It's not required that you book an accessible room, but the accessible rooms are bigger and they actually have space to park a scooter. Whereas a regular standard room, there's just not a lot of wiggle room in the stateroom to even park a scooter. So kind of depends on your equipment and what you're comfortable with and what your roommate is comfortable with. But there's not a lot of room. As long as it fits in the door, they don't want you to park the scooters in the hallways.
Okay.
So it would have to be narrow enough of a scooter to get in your stateroom and park inside.
Okay. So the next question, and I know this one. What are the times for early and late dining, please?
So I can look. I don't have it memorized. It changes on every cruise, but this one they're telling us it's either 5:30, 8 o'clock, or my time dining.
Okay, that sounds brilliant. Yeah, I think Mark and I are definitely going to choose the later one.
Yeah,
and like we'd love it if people would join us as well. We don't be Billy no mates. Okay, right. So thinking about food, because Mark and I have already watched the video that we found about 6 times looking at where we're going to eat, because that's kind of important to us. What can you tell us about the drinks packages?
The drink packages are great if you consume quite a bit. They're going to include specialty coffees, sodas, and alcoholic beverages. If you get the alcoholic package, you just have to kind of look at the price and decide, do I drink this much? Because we get this question all the time, and people are like, well, I only drink like maybe 2 glasses of wine a day. Well, then you don't get the package, because your 2 glasses of wine are going to be way less expensive than a package, alcoholic package. Other people act like they're definitely going to drink their way through that package. So get the package, but really depends on your consumption and how much you want to drink versus buying by the glass. So you can definitely buy by the glass. You can buy sodas by the glass or a soda package. There's coffee cards if you want to have a lot of specialty coffees, because regular coffee is included. But if you like the iced coffees or, the syrups and things, you can get the coffee card. So there's lots of options. You just have to really think what's best for you. But if you and your roommate are both over 21 and one wants the alcoholic package, they require you both to get it. So
okay,
that's something to think about.
Do you know how much the packages are, or roughly how much they are? Because obviously anything can change.
Right. They are different on every ship and sailing date. I'll have Sarah, can you look at that price? We can tell you what the current price is right now for your sailing, and it does go on sale and fluctuates throughout the year. So you would book that direct on Royal Caribbean site, and then if you see a lower price, then you can call them and say, hey, can we cancel that and rebook it? And they'll do that. So.
Oh, brilliant. That's a great tip. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. We've got lots of questions now. Okay, so this list, right, you've answered my first one. Is it mandatory to pay tips beforehand, or can we choose who to tip at the end of the cruise? Now, I do understand that we can pay ahead for the tips with you. Is that right?
Yes, we can add them to your invoice, and then you're just done with them. You don't even have to think about it on the cruise. Your cabin steward and your waiters, they really do rely on tips from the cruisers. They don't make a full salary with the cruise line. So it is very much appreciated if you tip them. It's kind of, they're really expecting that for their salary.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to prepay them, Royal Caribbean will automatically add them to your onboard account daily. So you'll see the daily charge get on your card. If you want to adjust them, you can adjust them at guest services on board. But I like to prepay them, get them out of the way. And that way, when I get my bill at the end of the cruise, it doesn't include that extra amount. And I can just, feel better about my onboard spending. But that's up to you guys. So
if there's somebody who's been particularly brilliant, and just say we're going to pay the tips ahead of time with you, can we? I don't know how it would work, because Royal Caribbean's an American company, isn't it? So I'm going to guess that the staff would be from maybe all over. And we're a nation who us Brits, we don't typically tip, so this is a learning experience.
Yes.
What we would do if we do tip is we'll usually leave some cash. How would that work if there's somebody that we really want to say an extra special thank you to? What would be the best way to do that?
I mean, they would always love extra cash, and they're not going to turn that away. And they would, I'm sure they would accept, different currencies. That's fine. They're going to be able to spend that. The ship itself is going to sail to a lot of different places. So
I think it's off. Is it off to the Mediterranean the week out? The day we get back, I think somebody said the other day. It's going to the Mediterranean for 2 weeks or something, which is exciting. We'll just stay on.
Yeah, you can. If you want to book a back-to-back, we can help you with that too.
Excellent. Next question. Is there Wi-Fi?
There is Wi-Fi. You just have to pay for it. So you can sign up. Again, just like the drink packages, it's going to fluctuate in price, and it's going to go on sale. And it looks like we got a price for both of those. So I'll tell you what they're going for now. Just 1 second.
Now, there is, and I can't remember if you just mentioned this, but I've already downloaded it, but there is a Royal Caribbean app, isn't there? And I've looked at that briefly, and you can also, nearer the time, you can do things like book your excursions and everything on it. So I'm going to assume as well that once you're on the cruise, this will give you an idea of your spending and everything. Does it cover everything like that, the app?
It does. It's great.
Glance what you've already spent.
Yes, that will tell you your onboard spending. You can look at the daily schedule. You can reserve shows once you're on board. So all sorts, reserve specialty dining. Right now, the deluxe beverage package is going for around $75 per person per day, and you have to buy it for the whole voyage. And then Wi-Fi is about $20 per person per day.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Right, okay, so questions for me next is, do we need to bring craft supplies with us? Right, well, Mark and I are pretty certain we know exactly what the project is going to be, and it's going to be very, very different, but you're going to get a little bit of teaching from both of us. So that's all I'm saying at this point. But it's not a book in a box. Exactly. Your kit, everything that you need with regard to any grey board, pattern paper, structure, or anything special that you need to complete the project, we will supply. Whether or not we mail it to certainly UK people ahead of time or bring it with us, we haven't 100% decided that yet. What you will need to bring with you is your toolkit. So you'll need to bring things like your scoreboard, your bone folder, your trimmer, that sort of thing. You know, the usual sort of stuff that you take to a crop, you will need to bring that with you. And adhesives as well. Now, we're not going to be taking the shop, which I know was an option that was offered to us, but we will still do kind of like pre-orders. So if anybody wants us to bring stuff like glue, we can do that. That's not a problem at all. But that will all obviously come out through the Facebook group when we get that all done. But with regard to the kit, now, obviously, at this point in time, I do not know what papers are going to be available next year. However, if you've done a retreat with me before, you'll know that generally speaking, I do like to try and give a couple of options where I can. So it might well be that there is kind of like a travel option or something else. I haven't decided, but that is, you know, something that I'm quite happy to be flexible on and take advice. So if you've got any particular thoughts about it, then do let me know. So I hope that helps answer the craft supplies with you. Now, the class will be whilst we are at sea. So we leave on the Friday, I think 5 p.m. And then the Saturday we are at sea all day. The following days after that, there are excursions and getting into port and such like, until we get to the last afternoon when I think we have to be on board from Bergen at 2 o'clock, to depart at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to say that we can do a little bit of extra on the project then, and then the following day is all at sea. So we will be having the full day class, catching up, finishing off, all of that sort of stuff. Now, the crop room, I believe, Cheri, you probably help me on this one, that is available at all times, but Mark and I might not necessarily be there, but we will be there for the formal classes, which are those 2.5 days. So I hope that kind of helps. Do you know much about the room that we're going to be using, Cheri?
Yes. So the Anthem of the Seas has one of my favorite conference rooms. So it is off the back of the ship, and the whole back of the conference center is floor to ceiling windows. So
wow.
if you're in there and you're, you know, getting into port or leaving port and you're sailing through those fjords, you're going to be able to see that even when you're in the crop room crafting. So it's beautiful. It's up on deck 13, just off the back of the ship. So it's great because a lot of the conference rooms on different ships don't have windows. So this one in particular that has a window off the back of the ship, everybody loves it. So you're going to really enjoy it.
Amazing. One thing that I will do as well with the class, as I do with all of my retreats, is I will pre-record the classes as well. Now, I think there is an AV system, isn't there? But I know this is something that we can discuss later. But if what I will do is make the class available ahead of time. So if you want to download that to your own tech rather than use ship Wi-Fi, then you can do so. But obviously, I'm still going to be teaching face-to-face, step-by-step without, you know, a question. But I know for those of you who are either a bit slower or super fast, Julie, then you might want to, you know, you might find the pre-recorded version useful, and that is something that we will do for this event as well. So yeah.
Good. So yeah.
Okay, is there a list of excursions available, please, Cheri?
Once you're booked and you have that Royal Caribbean app, you can definitely check and see what's available at this point. I don't know if all the excursions are available right now or if they'll be continually add them in the coming months, but that Royal Caribbean app is the best and easiest way to keep checking, but definitely pre-book excursions. Don't wait till you're on the ship or till you get off the ship to book something. They will sell out. So grab the ones you want now. You do book and pay for them now, and you can cancel them up until I think 24 or 48 hours before the excursion. But if you see something you like, I would book it.
Can you, if you choose not to do an excursion, is it okay to get off the ship and just have a wander around these amazing towns that we're going to be there?
Certainly. You don't have to have an excursion. I've never been to Norway, so I can't speak firsthand of where the ship docks versus it, if you'd have to taxi into the cute part of town or if it's right there. So that could vary. But, definitely if you want to really get out and see the area, then an excursion is a great option.
Sounds good. But I mean, judging by what I've seen of the ship, I think you could spend every waking moment on that ship and still find lots of new things to do. So it's pretty awesome, to be honest. Right, I'm just looking about, is it a book in a boat? No, not quite.
No boat.
Right, okay. I think is that let me just check my list of questions and make sure that I'm up to date. I think I've asked everything that I've been asked. Yep. So is there anything that I haven't covered that you think we need to know?
Just that, the sooner you can get booked, the better. We have a limited number of group rates available. Once those sell out, rates could be higher. So you're doing yourself an advantage to be one of the first to book. And there's only a space for 30 crafters. So, we're already, almost a third full. So definitely get your bookings in as soon as possible.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Obviously, people can come back and watch this as often as they need to. But if there are questions in the future, then I know you're really easy to get hold of, which is lovely. So people can contact you through the website, or what's best, the website or your Facebook page? I'm going to assume the website, your website.
Best to email us at info@cruiseandcrop.com. We're constantly looking at emails and responding throughout the day. We are here Monday through Friday, and we are closed on the weekends. So please keep that in mind, and thank you for your patience. But we will reply the next week. But that's usually a better way to get a hold of us versus Facebook. I mean, I'm on that all the time too, but those messages are easier to miss. So
yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Brilliant. Okay, so is that it in terms of questions? Let me just have a look. I've totally and utterly ignored YouTube. So let me just check that there's nothing on YouTube that I've missed. I apologise. Is your computer working yet, dear?
Yeah.
Oh, so have I missed anybody on YouTube?
No,
oh, you're a good lad. Brilliant. All right, that's good. Nicely organised. Cheri, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm so grateful. Have I just broken it?
No, still working.
Is it?
And one more thing, also in the office with me is Sarah, and you're welcome when you call. You can talk with Sarah. We work hand in hand, and so either one of us can help you if you have questions.
Brilliant. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm really grateful. If there are any other questions, then as you know, you can contact Cheri or Sarah directly, or feel free to ask me, and I will ask the question. But book on as soon as you can, Mark. We need to do ours. We'll do it now. That'd be great, wouldn't it? See you guys. Have a nice time without us. But yeah, we'll see you soon. And I'm hoping that we now we know what we're doing for the project, that we're going to have that available for you really soon, and you are going to be well impressed. It's very, very different. Yeah. Yes. All right then, everybody. Cheri, again, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.